All right, welcome back, students. Today we are doing 2.6, and we're going to start off on page 60 with taking notes. So 2.6, and we're on page 60. So what we're going to learn how to do today is we're going to learn how to factor trinomials, which is what we've done the last 2 days. But today is different because these have with a leading coefficient that's not 0. So that's what you might notice about this one is that instead of just x squared, we have a 3. So we have a leading coefficient here that's not 0. So what we are going to do is we're going to do a method that Bill Davies calls the double smiley face. The double smiley face. So just like in any factoring of a trinomial, the first step is we're going to write our parentheses. And then for this step, we're going to look and what gets us to 3x? Well, the only thing that gets us to 3x squared is a 3x times an x. So we already have our first number. Now, we do the same thing where we take our 2 and we get our factors of 2, which is just 1 and 2. Now, we need to put the 1 and 2 here. We can't switch them back and forth because this is 3x and this is x. It's not the same. So our 1 and our 2, we have to be intentional about where we put them. I'm actually going to start using a pencil because we're going to be doing some erasing. So 1 and a 2. Let's try just for sake, let's try putting a 2 and a 1. So this double smiley face that Mr. Davies is talking about looks like this. I have a double smiley face. So here I have a 2x, and here I have a 3x. 2x plus 3x equals 5. So that is actually correct. That's correct right there. Let's look at if I had done it the other way, which I actually thought was 3x and x. What if I had put the 1 here and the 2 here? What would I have gotten? So I'll do the double smiley. So here I would have gotten 1x, and here I would have gotten 6x. So this gives me a 7x, which is not correct. 2x and 3x equals a 5x. So that's my answer. That's my factored answer. So that's how you factor trinomials when you have a leading coefficient that's not 1. Now, I'm going to show you on our first couple examples here what you do first. Always, what you do first is you're going to factor, if you can, you're going to factor the greatest common factor. And the other thing to note is that numbers 7 through 12, they've all changed. So make sure you get the changes before you start doing the problems. Make sure you get the changes before you start doing the problems. So 2c squared minus 14c minus 36. If I look in here, actually they all have 2. So I can, before I even start, I can factor out a 2. So 2c squared divided by 2 is c squared. 14c divided by 2 is 7c. 36 divided by 2 is 18. So I just factored out my 2. And now I'm left with a leading coefficient that is not greater than 1. So now what I can do, I can do my normal routine. So I have a negative 18, 1, 18, 2, 9, 3, 6. And I have to get to a negative 18, so that means one of these has to be negative. I have to get to a negative 7. So, oops, I should always put my c's in first. Positive 2, negative 9. So that gives me a negative c. I mean a negative 7c. Please do not lose this 2. That is part of the problem. That is part of the answer or the solution. All right, let's go over here. We have 3x squared minus 6x minus 24. First thing I see is they are all divisible by 3. So I'm actually going to factor out a 3. I'm left with x squared minus 2x minus 8. So my next step is to draw my parentheses. Make sure you include the 3. And then I'm going to take my -8, 1, 8, 2, 4. So one of these is going to be negative, since I have a -8. How do I get to a -2? -4 and a +2. Ooh, I keep forgetting my x. Okay. +2, -4. So these should be familiar to you from the last 2 nights of homework, or last night's homework. Or last 2 nights of homework, as a matter of fact. Each one of these has a 5 in it, so I'm going to factor out a 5. S squared plus 11s plus 10. Get my factors of 10. Write my parentheses, and before I forget, I'll write my s's here. Note those are not 5s, those are s's. But I did bring my 5 with me. Which of these gets me to 11 plus 1 plus 10? Okay, so these should be straightforward for you. They all actually factor out. So 1 through 6 is just like on 2.5, where you're factoring, where your leading coefficient is 1. So it's just like 2.5. Now we get into the new stuff. So before you go on, please write down the new problems. Write down the new problems. And these are the ones that are due. So they're not in your workbook. We're doing these. All right. So there's nothing common in all 3 of these. So I'm just going to go straight to my parentheses. And how do I get a 2x squared? Well, the only way to get a 2x squared is 2x times x. Now, factors of 5, I get a 1 and a 5. That's it. So I either put a 1 here and a 5 here, or a 5 here and a 1 here. I think I'm going to have to put the 5 here. So, but I have to check with my double smiley face. 1 times 1x is 1x. 2x times 5 is 10x. So that gives me 11x, which is there. Ding, 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 ding. So that is correct. If I had switched them and I had 2x plus 5 times x plus 1, well, then my double smiley would have been, let's use a different color. I would have had 5x and 2x, which would be 7x. So that's not it. Okay. Let's check this one. 2 parentheses. How do I get 2x squared? Well, I have to have 2x times x. Then I have a -3. So I have a 1 and a 3. So, and one of them has to be negative. So I have to have a positive and a negative. So let's try -3, positive 1. So here we get 1x and -6x. That does not equal -1. That equals -5. So that is not right. So I'm going to have to erase. Actually, I'll just rewrite it. 2x, x. So let's do, so this is just guess and check. So I'm going to go -3, positive 1. So now I get -3x, and I get 2x, which equals -x. There it is. So that's how you do these. They're just guess and check. You might have to do it 3 or 4 times to get to the right answer, but you do your double smiley and you check and see if you get the right answer. All right. Oh, so this one has a lot of options. -45. I have 1 and 45, 2, 3 and 15, 4, 5 and 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope. So there's our three options. To get 2x squared, I have to have a 2x times an x. So now inside here, I have to come up, my double smiley has to come up with a negative 13x. Ooh, 2 times 9 is 18 minus 5. So let's try negative 9, positive 5. Again, I am just like trying. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Negative 18, positive 5. This is a negative 13x. So that is it. And again, that was kind of guess and check. I just sat here looking at the numbers and got fortunate that the first one I checked was right. So there it is. 2x plus 5 times x minus 9. All right. Make sure you change these three so that you have this. And ask me if you have any questions. All right. Have a wonderful afternoon.